From 60s and sun to below freezing temperatures and snow, we're under a Denver 7 weather action day as a strong cold front moves through Colorado. And a disturbing scene in Commerce City. 5 people are found dead in an apartment.
I don't really know what's going on, but it's very sad.
Investigators rule out foul play and are trying to figure out what happened.
If it is going to be illicit drugs, they were very, very bad.
And Russian President Vladimir Putin meets with his security advisors as the U.S. is convinced Russia will invade Ukraine any day.
Today might be that day, and we hope that's not the case.
Certainly. Meanwhile, back here in Colorado, things are quiet right now. On the left, you're seeing I-70 near Glenwood Springs. Everyone moving along just fine there. On the right is a view from Lookout Mountain, and the sun is trying to break through the clouds. But we are under a Denver 7 weather action day because this will actually be the warmest part of the day. A strong cold front is moving in, and we're going to see temperatures drop by as much as 40 degrees by this time tomorrow. We're talking single digits in most places across the state. We want to get right out to meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo, who's tracking the timing of this bitter cold and snow headed our way.
Yeah, and you're right. We're near 50 in quite a few neighborhoods right now, well above freezing. This is going to be the last time that we're above freezing until it looks like Saturday. Once these temperatures start to drop and once the cold front rolls through, it's going to get pretty bitterly cold out there. Right now, take a look at your hourly planner. We'll again be near 50 between now and about 2 o'clock. And then we're tracking a cold front that's going to race in from the north, dropping those temperatures down to below freezing by about 6 o'clock this evening. And then snow will develop tonight. That snow falling right now out west. You get west of the divide and you're going to start to see some wet roads there along I-70. It's dry here in town right now, but we will see a chance for some light snow tonight. Really, the bigger story with this storm will be just how cold it gets. We've got a number of alerts and even some high fire danger down over the southeastern corner of the state. It's pretty warm and dry down there today, and the winds are kicking up. We'll talk more about this and how much snow we're expecting in the mountains, Brian, coming up here in just a few minutes.
That's a very colorful map. All right, thank you, Lisa. Remember, you can get the forecast anytime just by downloading our free Denver 7 Plus app. We have an interactive radar there. Also, the hour-by-hour forecast and a 24/7 live weather stream. You can find it on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, or Android. Well, police are trying to figure out how 5 people ended up dead in Commerce City. They were found in an apartment near 104th and Chambers yesterday. A woman and a baby were also inside but found alive. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us live with details about a troubling investigation. Christian.
Yeah, it's definitely a very tragic and heartbreaking situation, and the scene is all clear now, but this is what it looked like just hours ago, and we've been out here following this all morning. So here's what we know so far. Police found 3 women and 2 men inside an apartment at the North Range Crossings complex. This happened yesterday afternoon. It is still unclear how they died, but police believe the adults took a drug that they didn't know was laced with fentanyl. A woman and a 4-month-old baby were also inside at the time, but they are expected to be okay.
There are some people dead inside of an apartment and an infant lived. I hope the parents were not in there, but been doing this long enough, I would probably be safe to suggest that the parents probably were inside. And so for the infant, yeah, that's going to be a long time without parents.
It's really very disturbing. I only found out about it because I got a text message from a coworker asking me if I was okay because someone let her know that 5 people were dead in my apartment complex. I automatically assumed it was a drug overdose.
As you just heard, neighbors are definitely on edge, but police say there is no threat to the public. We're going to keep following this to bring you the very latest throughout the day. We are live in Commerce City this morning. I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Christian. Toxicology results will determine the cause of death, but if it turns out to be drug overdoses, unfortunately, it's part of a growing deadly trend. Fentanyl was the leading cause of death for young people last year, higher than COVID, car crashes, or cancer. The National Institute on Drug Abuse says last year 75% of cocaine overdoses were laced with fentanyl, and the same goes for half of meth overdoses. Looking at Colorado's laws when it comes to fentanyl, possession of 4 milligrams is a misdemeanor, It only takes half that amount to kill someone, about the same size as a sugar packet. District Attorney Brian Mason, who serves Adams and Broomfield counties, was at the scene last night. He's calling for tougher drug punishments.
Our state legislature is working on this. I know the governor is working on this. We have to increase penalties for distribution of fentanyl, because if we don't, we are going to continue to have scenes like this nightmare scene tonight.
The same calls were raised back in December when a DEA operation seized 110,000 pills across the Denver metro. Federal agents say nationally more pills were taken off the streets than all of 2020 and 2019 combined. Many of those were spiked with fentanyl. The Biden administration says the crisis with Russia and Ukraine is escalating, and it's confident Russia could invade at any moment. Here's a look at the new developments from this morning. Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Security Council discussed whether to recognize Russian-controlled separatists in eastern Ukraine as independent. And President Biden is meeting with his security team today. Biden and Putin might hold a meeting, but as Zorin Shah reports, it's only if Russia doesn't invade first.
Preparing for invasion. That's what the White House says Russian troops are still ready to do.
We can't say anything other than indications on the ground look like Russia is still moving forward.
President Biden meeting with his national security team today, and now U.S. officials telling ABC News they believe Russian tactical commanders have been told to be ready for orders to invade. U.S. officials raising the alarm, writing to the UN that if they invade, Russia could target specific Ukrainians for assassination or prison camps, saying the targets could include those who oppose Russian actions, journalists and anti-corruption activists, and vulnerable populations such as religious and ethnic minorities and LGBTQI+ persons. U.S. officials say over 150,000 Russian troops have enclosed 3 sides of Ukraine, with over half in attack position. And Russia saying their military will stay in Belarus indefinitely. ABC's James Longman on the ground as drills took place.
These military drills have certainly taken on a much more threatening character.
And President Vladimir Putin just this weekend supervising a nuclear-capable ballistic missile test firing alongside Belarusian ally President Lukashenko. Now Putin says Russia is threatened with the potential of Ukraine joining NATO, calling on the alliance to withdraw troops in Eastern European members. But it's Russia that seized Ukrainian territory in 2014 and threatens to do so again.
Putin still sees Ukraine as part of the Soviet empire. He doesn't like that there have been discussions about Ukraine joining NATO.
Russian officials say it is too early to talk about a meeting with Biden, but they haven't ruled it out. Both sides say, though, that their foreign ministers will meet first thing Thursday. Zorin Shah, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, tensions in Ukraine are hitting us at the gas pump. Oil prices are at their highest level in 8 years, with gas prices up 40% since this time last year. Right now, Colorado's gas is averaging about $3.35 a gallon. That's actually lower than the national average of $3.50. A gallon of gas in California, meanwhile, will set you back $4.70. And experts say topping the $5 mark is a real possibility. The Biden administration, meanwhile, is putting a pause on new leases and permits for federal oil and gas drilling. Comes after a judge in Louisiana issued an injunction preventing the administration from using the social cost of carbon in discussions on public land. The social cost of carbon is a measurement that puts a dollar figure on the amount of carbon dioxide emitted to value its impact on disasters like wildfires or hurricanes. The administration also requested a stay pending appeal, saying the ruling is too broad. A court will start looking into a lawsuit against the Douglas County School Board. The lawsuit claims the board's conservative majority violated Colorado's open meeting laws, leading to the firing of Superintendent Corey Wise. The law requires that any meeting of 3 or more elected officials be held publicly. The board members involved claim they never met as a group, only having one-on-one conversations and a series of phone calls before voting on his termination. Looking at sports, negotiations are happening today between Major League Baseball and the Players Union, but the player lockout has forced the cancellation of some spring training games through next Friday at least. The Rockies' first spring training game was supposed to be over the weekend. As of now, opening day is still set for March 31st. Nikola Jokic was one of the starters in last night's NBA All-Star game, playing for LeBron James' team in Cleveland. He scored 10 points added 9 rebounds and 8 assists in just 21 minutes, so very efficient with his playing time. He had the least amount of minutes of any of the game's starters. Meanwhile, the Nuggets are off until Thursday. They'll be back in action in Sacramento against the Kings. The Avs are playing a rare Monday morning game on this President's Day. Their game in Boston against the Bruins started about 10 minutes ago. The Avs sit atop the NHL standings and are 8-1-1 in their last 10 games, one of the hottest teams in the league. The Avs go to Detroit Wednesday, and they'll be back home Friday. Federal officials are considering a 4th COVID-19 shot. Also, the power grid in Texas failed during a major cold snap last year. The change is being made so it doesn't happen in other states.